Alright, let's look at the Theorem 1, Scalene inequality. Alright, so in triangle ABC, alright, if one side AC is longer than AB, right, then the opposite angle, so the angle opposite from the longer side is going to be larger than the angle opposite from the shorter side. Right, so that's what it says. All right, let's try to. So this is actually if and only if statement. So we're going to have to do both implications. Right. So let's do this implication. So assume that the AB is less than AC. We want to show that the measure of the angle C is less than a measure of the angle B. All right. So here's a given. AB is less than AC. All right. Then 2. Alright, since AC is longer, we can always chop it down so that it matches AB. So let's see, we can, so there exists, or we can say construct point D on AC. Right, such that, right, AB matches AD, right? So we're constructing, so D is probably somewhere around there. So this is D, and I'm going to close it off, right? So that length here matches length there, right? So this is a segment construction theorem. So for short, I'm going to just say construction theorem. Alright, so we have that. Alright, so since we have an isosceles triangle right here, so this is isosceles triangle, we can at least say 3. Alright, angle ABD is congruent to angle ADB. Right? So this is the isosceles triangle theorem. Right? Alright, so let's observe angle, measure of the angle B. Right, so 4. Right, measure of the angle B is going to be a combination of measure of angle ABD and the measure of the angle DBC. Right, so this is by A2. Right. And 5, alright, if you drop the positive term, we know that the measure of the angle DBC is positive, so we know that the measure of the angle B is larger than measure of the angle ABD. Right? So this is come from A1, tells you that the measure is always positive. Right? Then, by combining this guy, we know that, let's see, 3 and 4, so 3 and 5, we know that the measure of the angle B is greater than, right, angle ABD is congruent to ADB, so measure of the angle ADB, right? And so this is just a combining line number 3 and line number 5, right? Then we can do a exterior angle inequality, because angle ADB is the exterior and angle C is the opposite interior angle. So we know that 7, measure of the angle ADB is actually greater than measure of the angle C. Right? So this is by exterior angle inequality. Alright, then we're almost done here. By combining 6 and 7, we know that the measure of the angle B is strictly greater than measure of the angle C. Right, so that's the conclusion. Right, this is just combining 6 and 7. Right, so that's the proof of one implication. Right, let's do the other implication. Right, proof of this implication. Right. Right, so let's assume that the measure of the angle C is less than measure of the angle B. Right, so this is given. And 2, I'm going to list all possible cases. Right, so we can think of 3 different cases. AB is longer than AC, or AB is equal to AC, or AB is smaller than AC, which is what we want to conclude. Right? So this is all cases. Let's see, I'm going to write all cases. Right, 3. Right, let's pick on the first case. Let's assume that AB is longer than AC. Right, so this is our case 1. All right, then 4. Right, using the first part, the other implication, if AB is longer than AC, we know that the measure of angle C is going to be strictly larger than measure of the angle B, which is going to contradict line number 1. Right, so this is by the other implication, which we already proved. Right. So this is a contradiction. So 5, case 2. Let's assume that AB is equal to AC. Right? So this is case 2. Right? But this is easy because then we have isosceles triangle. So we know that this implies that the base angles, angle C, measure of the angle B, are the same. So this is isosceles triangle theorem. Alright, and then we're done. Therefore, we eliminated the first 2 cases. So we have AB is less than AC by rule of elimination. Right, so this was case 3. Right. So that'll prove the other implication, right? So Scalene inequality is if you have the angle opposite from the longer side is always larger than the angle opposite from the shorter side, or the side opposite from the larger angle is always longer than the side opposite from the smaller angle, right? So that's the Scalene inequality. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.